Kol Hashaneh Halachot B'chol Yom. The two mitzvot of the day today is the 17th of Elul. The two mitzvot are, the mitzvot are sponsored, by the way, L'Nun Nishmat Simcha Kohen Ben Yair and Refuah Shlema Chaya Vat Leah. Anybody wants to sponsor, let me know. Anyway, the first mitzvah today is mitzvah number 272. A Kohen Gadol must marry a Betula. And the second mitzvah today is mitzvah 289. You're not allowed to slaughter a blemished animal as an offering. And with that, we're going to start the discussion. The first, as we said, 272, mitzvah Kohen Gadol Isa Na'ara Betula. There's an obligation for a Kohen Gadol to marry a virgin. Shisa Kohen Gadol Na'ara Betula, Shneimar. It says in the Pasuk, Vayikra, it's in the chapter 21 of Vayikra, and 13 Pasuk. Vehu Isha Bebetulei Ekach. It says clearly that a Kohen Gadol should marry a virgin. As he says, he should take a Betula for himself. Veharaya Shezeh Nichshav Michlal Mitzvah Aseh. So the Rambam explains why is this called the Mitzvah Aseh. Mashemru Zechronah L'Bracha, as it says over there in Masechet Ketuvot, on 29th page, Amud Bet. Oseh Haya Rabbi Akiva Mamzer Afilu Mechayevei Oseh. Right? So Rabbi Akiva had declared that anybody who has shalom, that a mamzer is not allowed to marry a Jewish nation. Also, it's mitzvah. It's mitzvah in the Torah. ובירו זה כשהיה כהן גדול בא על אישה שאינה בתולה שהיא אסורה עליו ועושה. So the rabbi is explaining over there that if a Kohen Gadol goes with a woman who was not a virgin already, she was married before or whatever, שהעיקר הוא אצלנו, so he is transgressing this, he's transgressing the ba'aseh, meaning he didn't fulfill the obligation of marrying a betula. שהעיקר הוא אצלנו, לאו הבא מכלל עשה, עושה. So we learn over there that there is there is a prohibition that comes out from the commandment to do something. Let's say in this case, there's a prohibition. We learn that he's not allowed to marry a betula, not betula, because there's obligation to marry a betula. So that's form of learning Torah. Sometimes you have such a mitzvot where there is an obligation to do something, and you understand the opposite is the prohibition. Our teachers also taught us the following in the Horayot. Gemara on the 11th page, it's over there. Amud Bet. Muzar al halmana u'mitzvah al betula. He is also prohibited to marry a widow. A Kohen Gadol is prohibited marrying a widow, and for many reasons the Gemara discusses over there. And therefore he is commanded to marry a betula. Now, many people don't understand the concept of betula today's generation because unfortunately we are exposed to many things. No, betula in the halachic sense means this is specifically he's not allowed to marry a girl above the age of 12 and a half max. Okay? And the reasons we'll see right now, we're not talking about a girl who is 19 and 20 and married her, and that's so she didn't know what. No. Specifically, there is a reason why he has to marry a young one. We'll discuss right now. משושי המצווה, לפי שהעיקר הטוב שבאדם הוא שיהיה לו מחשבת טהורה ונקיות. We have a concept that a man, a Kohen, what is his job? His job is to go to Beit HaMikdash, Kodesh Kodoshim. He is to have a pure of thoughts without any chas v'shalom sidetracking. We know that a thought, his thought has to be 100% pure, and there has to be not one blemish in his thought. Otherwise, our thoughts are leading us to do what we're doing in our lives. The process of our physical action only starts because of our thoughts. על כן ראוי לו למשרת הגדול להידבק באישה שלא קבע מחשבתה באיש אחר זולתי בו. Therefore, what happens, Rahman al-Islam, today especially, we know we're exposed to this. Unfortunately, most girls are 13, 14 already. Unfortunately, even the yeshivas, Beis Yaakovs, they already, in their minds, talking boys. All right? They're talking boys. It's not a new issue. We see that it's an old problem. And unfortunately, therefore, the Torah has commanded the Kohen Gadol to marry somebody who is going to be of younger age, that she shouldn't have a thought for any boy. There should be not even 1 ounce of anything. Shehu kadosh kedoshim. We have to know that Kohen Gadol has to be pure. ומתוך כך יהיה הזרע אשר ייתן לו השם ממנה טהור ונקי ראוי לעבודה הקדושה. And we understand that whatever you are, that's what your offspring is. Whatever you are, that's what your offspring is. If you're holy, your offspring will be holy. It's going to be Mitzvoth. Okay? Therefore, ושמעת אומר, ומי יודע אם גם בבתולה קבעה מחשבתה באיש אחר. So the question the rabbi says over there, maybe you think to yourself, how do you know this girl is perfect? How do you know this girl never talked about her boys? That he's gonna never got involved with talking with about other boys. So the Torah says, let's say even if she did. So the Torah says, no, מחשבה, it's for her באיש אחר. So בו ונתנה עיניה באחר. Maybe she has a crush on somebody else. How do you know she doesn't? Right? התשוגה בזה שכל זמן שלא יצאה מחשבתה מן הכוח אל הפועל, אינה נפסלת. No, okay, yes, you're right. Obviously, the most fruitful thing is that the parents took care of the daughter and made sure that she's going to be fit for a Kohen Gadol. As we see, somebody told me yesterday, a very funny story. He was going out on a date, right? He's Israel. So he was going out on a date, and he was informed, unfortunately, this girl that he's dating is from a divorced Kohen. A Kohen married a divorcee. He married a divorcee, so this girl is what? And you've said it. The problem was, he made a mistake. If he broke the shidduch, why he broke the shidduch, he tells me? Well, he was afraid that his children will not be able to marry a Kohanim. I said to him, Chas v'shalom, whoever told you this, first of all, is a Rasha. How do you do such a thing? How do you break a shidduch? She's a good girl. First of all, there was a big mistake over here because halakha is not so. The halakha is that if a daughter of a Kohen who married a divorcee, and she's a daughter of a divorced girl, only the sons become halalim. The daughter doesn't. So meaning if Israel marries her, and all his children are kosher to marry Kohana, afilu Kohanim gdolim. I was so upset yesterday. Baruch Hashem, I was not so upset. I didn't forget the halakha. So you see, I'm just telling you. I was so displeased. How you break a shidduch? Maybe she was your girl. Then he was modeh. He was mistaken. He looked at all the books, and Baruch Hashem, I was correct because we learn halakha. That's what we learn here. However, a woman, a girl who has shalom had a relationship with anybody, the problem is having a thought is not a destruction. If she had a thought, she talked about boys. That's what girls do, right? Unfortunately, it should stop. With Hashem's help, and this is what happened. So even though she had thought or she talked about other men, now it's only going to disqualify her if she went ahead and did a deed. So now we have a rule. What is bagrut? 12 and a half. So again, there's a period between 12 years and 12 and a half. That's called neorut, and that's allowed for a Kohen to marry her. However, if she's bager, if she's already past the age of 12 and a half, she's already considered to be a woman 100%. In that case, he's not allowed to marry her. העניין הוא דמכוון שהיא גדולה כל כך יצר מחשבת ליבה רק רע. Now, after 12 and a half, what happens? I tell everybody, Rama shoot. I speak to so many Rabbanim, I don't understand with so many people. Everybody tells me, how they're going to support themselves. Everybody, if in 300 years ago, everybody was getting married at a young age. Why were they getting married at a young age? So there was a lot of reasons. Homelessness, there was a lot of reasons, orphanages. So they were marrying at 12, 13, right? Now, this is before this generation. I'm crying every day. I cry to Hashem every day. What kind of defiled nation, the generation we live in? How you wait? The children grown up already, 13, 14. They're already they have hormones. Everything is fine. And then what we tell a child? Relax. Go to the freezer. I dive into Hashem every day. Hashem, stop this nonsense. I told my wife, no, I want my marriage to marry 16. 16, 17, 15, 16. What are you talking about? No, Rabbi, you're too extreme. Everybody's going to make fun of you. Extreme. Look at the Rabbi says here. The Rabbi is telling you, this Rabbi is 700 years ago. He's telling you, it's a rahu, rak ra. The Eitzara is so bad. And here we are. We're exposed to all the garbage. Now with this beautiful telephones in their hands, beautiful televisions in their hands, everybody's busy all day with it. And what do you expect from children? And then everybody, children at risk. You ever heard of that? Children at risk. We're putting them at risk. We are the evil ones. And then we're saying, it's the children, it's the Eitzarara, it's Hashem's fault, it's the feeling of a child. You have to work on it. You're a murderer. We are a bunch of crooks, fakers, cheaters, and then we're crying, children at risk, high-risk children. Marry them off at 13, 14. You'll see the difference. What do you expect? Yeah, Rabbi, it's not normal. How are they going to feed themselves? How are you feeding yourself? You made money. You made money. You decided to make money. Somehow you made money. Yeah? So the children are not going to. It's amazing. I talk to New Yorkers. You can't live in New York. You can't live in New York. So all the Bukharians tell me, it's hard to move. We have yeshiva, we have houses. They came here, literally, my generation came here. My mother, she didn't have $1 in her pocket. Look at all the Forest Hills over there. People buying over $3 million houses. They came less than $1 to America. Less than 30 years ago. They don't believe themselves in Hashem. Yeah, Hashem Rachem. Yeah, any girl over 12 and a half, 13, she has Eitzer Hara. Don't give me such. She's tzaddik. She's a Beis Yaakov girl, please. The rabbi says, why don't the Kohen Gadol is not allowed to marry her? Maybe she has thoughts about other men already. However, look at this, is outrageous. This world. What? Why a Kohen Gadol cannot marry a girl 12 and a half and over? Over there, it's different. The thought already, we said 12 and a half, her thought is nothing. We're telling her, as long as she didn't be with another man. At 12 and a half and up, her thoughts are already making action, and she's no more pure, and she's not allowed to marry. Kohen Gadol is not allowed to marry such a girl. You know what's going on here? Shem Rachem. Yes, that's what he said just now. וכן, מזה הטעם אמרו, גם כן שאם נתאלמנה מן האירוסין, אפילו בעודה קטנה אסורה היא לכהן. Let's say a girl got engaged at 5 years old, right? She was going to marry somebody as soon as she turns 12. She's going to go into the chuppah and chalas. Everybody's happy. So she got married to a man at 5 years old. The father married her. All of a sudden, at 7 years old, the husband dies. She became a widow. He never touched her, right? The rabbi says here, still she's already asur. Why is she asur? Because now she's not no more pure thought. She's not there anymore. מכיוון שנעשה בה מעשה הקידושין, כבר קבעה מחשבתה. As soon as she had an engagement to a man, therefore it's already, her thought process already started on that man. So she's preparing herself for this man all the time. וישחרר מתוך מעשה האירוסין נפסלה. Therefore over here she's also disqualified. The מעשה פוסל אפילו בקטנה ומחשבה בגדולות. The rabbi says, any deeds under 12 and a half has to be a physical action. Machlokes between 12 and 12 and a half. It doesn't matter right now. We're not going to go into it. However, the thought process after 12 and a half finished. וכן אמרו שאם נבעלה שלא כדרכה גם כן פסולה. חס ושלום, if she had relations from not the proper way, still also אסורה. שכבר נעשה במעשה, אף על פי שבתולה קיימת. Even though she's a betula, since she was already isolated with a man and she did things that are not appropriate, again, her mind is no more clear. And the whole point over here, the Kohen's mind has to be 100% pure. As our teacher taught us, now, which Kohen Gadol? So we have two Kohen Gadol, right? Let's see. HaMashuach. We have Kohen Gadol, which was anointed with the Shemen. HaMashcha, or HaMerubeh begadim. Or there's another Kohen Gadol who was differentiated with clothing. So that's two. V'echad Kohen Gadol ha'oved. Now there's another Kohen Gadol that was performing services. He was only decided for services. So there's certain levels they had. Or Kohen Gadol sheminu ve'avar. Or any Kohen Gadol that he was appointed already Kohen Gadol, and he has something that he is not Kohen for now. But he has this title, Kohen Gadol. V'chen Kohen HaMashuach HaMelchama. And also a Kohen Gadol that goes to Kohen Mashuach HaMelchama. He's in charge of the war. So that Kohen that also is Kulam Mitzvovin ala Betula ve'asurim ve'almana. They all are obligated to marry a Betula, which is against, we're talking about under 12 and a half. So we talk about, to get a Kohen Gadol status, it's at least 40 years old. Right? What happened here? What's the situation here? He was married already before. We're not telling a guy divorces your wife. Right? But what are we talking about? Which scenario are we talking about? Who knows? On Yom Kippur, what we do? What do we do?
We designate a wife for him.
We designate a second wife for him. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
So in case his wife dies, he should not be a widow while he's performing the service. Therefore, that's what we're talking exactly. Or let's say his wife died. Let's say he's 70 years old. His wife died. She brought him 7 or 10, 15 Kohanim Gdolim over there after him, and his wife never died. So what is he doing now? Asur Shacharit. He's not allowed to serve Hashem. He's not allowed to be in Bet Mikdash. So they find him a girl from a good family, and she has to be under 12 years old for this purpose. Okay, so now this is what we're talking about. Now let's see what happens to a Kohen who doesn't listen. He goes ahead and marries. Quickly, we just want to say, Kohen Gadol, let's say he married a girl who was smith over there. She was hit with she fell off a rock she was playing, and a stick went in and harmed her and damaged her. So there's all those questions if he's allowed to marry her, if he did marry her, or let's say even Kohen Gadol who took a girl without marriage, then he was with her, and now then he wants to marry her. So all those things, he's not allowed to marry her, then he has to divorce her. There's a lot of discussions. All this is very important, and B'ezrat Hashem, when we have much longer time, we have to discuss it. This mitzvah is obviously in Eretz Israel only, and during the time where there is service. Then we had Kohen Gadol. Not today, we don't have it. Lo b'makom acher. Okay, and there's no such thing in the Chutz La'aretz. V'Kohen Gadol ha'over hazeh v'nasa be'olad ish she'ena lo almana v'lo girusha b'tel hazeh. So a Kohen that goes ahead and marries a girl who was a divorcee or a widow. She was with another man. She was not even what's his name, a widow, or she's not even grusha. She was just with a man. He is transgressing on a commandment that he must marry a betula. Then the next one, Mitzvah 273, discusses what if he did what not allowed to. But right now we're talking about Mitzvah Aseh, or commandment to do. So in this case, what does he do with this woman? He divorces her. He must divorce her girl that he married, that she was with another person without what's his name? Even what's his name? Whatever. Just like that. Mitzvah 289. That's a mamish short mitzvah, less than a minute. Shalom nishchad ba'alei mumin l'shem korban. Yeah, this is for you, Rabbi Moshe. You're not allowed to. No, this is for you. 289. You're not allowed to shecht any animal that has a blemish. A blemish has a mum. Any animal that has a mum, B'ezrat Hashem bekarov me'od in Beit HaMikdash will be asur to shecht that animal in the korban. Shalom nishchad ba'alei mumin l'shem korban. You're not allowed to. Shene'emar, it says in the pasuk. Vayikra 22nd chapter, 22nd pasuk. Lo takrivu ele la Hashem. You are prohibited from bringing the blemished animals to Hashem. Ulashon sifra lo takrivu mishum bal tishchat. So over there means you're not allowed to bring these animals, and you're not allowed to do not allowed to do shchita and this kind of animals for the purpose of Beit HaMikdash. And here we're going to finish now. Calling a mitzvah zul mifurash mitzvah kedoma. We already discussed about this mitzvah earlier in the mitzvah 288. Stay tuned for next year with Hashem when we do repeat the series. There is no such a prohibition today because there is no Beit HaMikdash, unfortunately, to perform this mitzvah and repeat the mitzvah 5 times. Have a wonderful day. Anybody wants to sponsor the shiurim daily, reach out, please.